You could pay rent at a smaller apartment. You could sell your car and take public transportation. Many people did for many generations. We've just gotten so entitled and are looking for easy. Do you know how many people complain about money and buy Starbucks?
So many.
And take Ubers and go to Coachella? Like, if you're complaining about money, save it.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to some of the marketing and tech stuff. I want to talk about your Day Trading Attention new book.
Yes.
So you've been on the cusp and the cutting edge of a lot of things. You were on the internet doing e-commerce before it was hot with Wine Library. You were one of the first pioneers on YouTube. So how can you tell when things are going to get hot?
You know how there's like good A&Rs in music? Like, how'd you know Lady Gaga was going to be big? Whoever discovered her, like he or she was just had a knack for it. Usually that knack is because you know how people are going to feel. So I have a very good feeling of what the general public likes and doesn't like. But also I put in the work. Back to what we were talking about earlier. When I jumped on YouTube in February of 2006 and went all in, I spent most of the summer of 2005 reading TechCrunch every blog post. And they would write about the new startups. If I hadn't put in that work, I would have never, or would have clicked on like the articles that led me there. If I didn't work 15 hours a day building winelibrary.com, sitting next to Eric Kastner, my developer, who probably was the one that said, read this TechCrunch article, because 3 years earlier I asked him, can I put wine videos on the website? How much would that cost? And after he told me like $1 billion to host them, because it was old back then, he was like, you're probably gonna like this because it's free. I'm like, it's free? You know, and so I'm good at human psychology. I'll give you a real interesting one that you might find interesting since you're such a young buck. But back in 2007, when I was yelling about Twitter, almost everyone would say to me, this is so stupid. Who cares that you're walking the dog? Who cares if you're eating pizza? And my answer was everyone. And people were like brain fucked with that. They're like, what do you mean? Now that must seem mundane to all you youngsters. Like, everybody shares everything about everything.
Yeah.
Back then, nobody shared anything about anything. So, you know, I think human psychology helps me, right? Like, why did I understand Musical.ly? Because I understood that it was putting in front of, when it was only 14-year-old girls, it was still putting in content in front of them based on content they liked, not based on following someone. I saw that in Tumblr when I was an early investor in Tumblr, and I knew why Tumblr was winning. It wasn't the social graph people. It was the interest graph. What are you into?
Yeah.
And I always thought that was more powerful because like Dustin and I could have been best friends in junior high, but then by high school, if our interests changed, right? We all lived through junior high and high school and college and post-life. We all saw, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 people stay forever. A lot of times it's just because they've been there for so long and you just got war stories together. It's not even like you are into the same shit anymore. But the natural human flight is you do change friends based on interest, times in life, things, right? And so that made more sense to me. So it's the skill of human psychology. It's the putting in the work. Like I wake up in the morning and I look at the app store. And then I play with things. If I think Reclip is interesting, I download and play with it.
Yep.
And right now, the only ones that are playing with Reclip are Gen Alpha. It's like me and the 9-year-olds. You know, like, and so like I put in the work, I stay curious, I watch, and then there's always moments where there's a tipping point. And I've been pretty good. Dustin's filming me in the back. For all the people that really follow me, obviously, D-Rock is doing his own thing, and I always have different people filming. Dustin's now really been locked in with me for a little while, and he's been here 5, 6. So he's now seen a cycle, and here's what I mean where I'm about to go next if we're getting very marketing nerdy.
Yeah.
He was here when Be Real was starting to get hot. He was in the meetings filming me when I was like, I think it's a feature. Like, now it's not him reading about it.
Yeah.
Now it's not the kids, everyone who's listening right now on podcasts, like me talking about it. No, he lived it. So he can see that like there is a skill set to being good at it, not just throwing against the wall and see what sticks. And so, you know, I'm excited about this skill. I focus on it very heavily. For example, the cliche question people ask me all the time is like, okay, so what's next? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But the second I see it, I go all in, I taste it. And whether that was Vine, where it did mean something, but then it sold quickly, or it was Social Cam, or Vero, or all these other things. That Peach was a big one for a week back in 2014. Like, I'm very focused on paying attention, putting in the work, saying maybe. You know what fucks everyone up?
What?
I say no. TikTok, no. And I always say maybe.
Yeah.
with a hope to yes. I say maybe with a hope to yes in a world of people that say no.
Yeah. Because you want to make sure you capitalize on it while there's still underpriced attention, like you say in your book, right?
That's right. The thing that many people will definitely understand right now that are listening is if you did move on TikTok when I was yelling about it every day 6 years ago, that would have been good. And now that I think people have gone through a cycle, because I was big enough at that time, unlike 10 years earlier, that enough people heard that. Enough people didn't go, you know why? Insecurity. Everybody that could and go crush it was on Instagram and they didn't want to start over. Well, I got 1 million followers on Instagram. I have 0 on TikTok. And people got caught.
Yeah. So talk to us about the supply and demand curve that happens on social platforms.
At first, if they're meant to be big, the ones we all know, there's so much attention there, but there's less content creators. And so anybody that's posting is going to get more of the percentage of the attention. As it becomes normalized, it gets harder to go viral.